So a lot of people say this man look like me. As a matter of fact, a lot of comments in my comments are usually Oracle. Well, in this video, we're going to be checking out Jaleel White shares heartbreaking details on Michelle Thomas's death. I'm kind of curious to see this one. Let's get to it.
Myra?
Hello, Eddie. Can you believe what's happening? My little doodle bug floating out in space all by his lonesome.
Doodle bug?
It looks like Michelle Thomas was in the zone, but little did the world know she had been battling demons behind closed doors.
There was still enough innocent characters in the 90s fame
Do we really look the same?
game who were just themselves and they fell into this life. And Michelle Thomas is that for me.
Even though things had taken the worst turn for her, she maintained hope since day one. And when she finally talked about her pain, it was a shock to her cast members and the world.
She came to me and she was crying. And I said, "What's the matter, Michelle?" And she said, "Well, I'm sick." She said, I said, "Well, it'll be all right. It'll be all right." And then she was gone.
These days, the appeal for viewers is mostly tied to CGI manipulation, but that wasn't always the case. In the early days of television, the only things that mattered to people were shows they could relate to, which is why there were so many successful shows in the 90s. But it wasn't just the shows that were successful. Even the cast members of most of these shows had good runs, however, that's only half their life story, or in this case, half her life story. The person I'm referring to is none other than Michelle Thomas, whose name is one in a short list of actors who made their mark in the entertainment industry from stints in the 90s alone. While a lot of actors from back then are jumping on new shows to build back their relevance today, people like Thomas never really needed that. The actress seemed to have been a star since the moment she walked into her first theater room. Although she's passed away, there have been mixed reactions, with celebrations on some fronts for a life well lived and tears for the loss of life. But the reality of Thomas's life was far from what most people saw. I mean, considering she had graced the set of several successful shows and even came from a home that already knew stardom, you'd think her run in the industry would have been as smooth as butter. However, the truth is far from that, and I only know this because one of her old castmates and friends has now chosen to speak out about the turbulences in her life. Trust me, if you thought you knew everything about this woman, you might be in for a big surprise.
Michelle Thomas was a part of my confidence building. And she made herself a part of that. And our relationship just kind of blossomed from there.
These days, it's not much of
It sounds like they were dating. That was just a lot more special for him, the way his tone was.
a surprise to see one actor in multiple projects, but back in the day, this was a feat reserved for only the best of the best. And that's just one of the many things that set Michelle Thomas apart from many other celebrities from the 90s. Known for her roles as Justine Phillips on the NBC sitcom The Cosby Show, and Myra Monkhouse, Steve Urkel's girlfriend on the ABC-CBS sitcom Family Matters, it was like Michelle was born to be a star. Even though most fans of the show had a problem with her role of being in a toxic relationship with Urkel, Thomas was described as an unstoppable force by almost everyone who saw her in action. But that hasn't stopped several people from holding a grudge against the show for how her character was treated. One person wrote, "I had the biggest crush on Myra when Family Matters was putting out new episodes. I even got mad at Steve Urkel for continuing to carry the torch for Laura. I remember thinking, you're smart enough to build robots and cloning machines, yet you can't see a good thing when you have it?"
How did that happen? I'm gonna go investigate this right now. The media in this country is out of control.
While her talents were supposed to be more than enough to put her on the radar of any film project, Thomas's life in the limelight was far from easy. In fact, you could easily say there are only a handful of people who had it as bad as she did. These details didn't come from
What
the
happened?
actress herself. They came from people around her that witnessed her go from one struggle to the next. At least that's what that actor, who played her love interest in one of her biggest shows, said. According to Jaleel White, who was a friend and co-star to the actress, Thomas's life was more than a little difficult. And although she could have taken an easy turn by selling her soul to the movers and shakers of the industry, Thomas didn't do that, not even when she was going through some of the toughest times financially.
Michelle had a lot of opportunities to sell her soul to the devil, to start climbing a little faster. And she just wasn't that girl.
Today, she stands as an idol and a beacon of hope to many in the entertainment industry, an achievement that seemingly relegated her to a life of constant work, even at the detriment of her health. It's a sad story, but there's almost no way you hear of how she lived her life and not get inspired.
She was a sweetheart. She was
She was a sweetheart.
talented and just wonderful.
Some people have it. She had it. Whatever it is,
She had
it.
Born in Boston, Massachusetts on September
beautiful,
23rd,
too.
1968, to Dennis Thomas, a member of the music group Kool and the Gang, and Finjor Thomas, a stage actress, it just seemed like the actress came to the world for one thing, and that is to be a star. While that essentially makes you think she might have had an easy rise to fame, the reality is far from that. Michelle's mother, Finjor, was initially a stage actress, but later became an acting coach for her daughter. As Michelle was just 17 years younger than her mother, which practically makes them siblings in some family settings, the duo was
That's
very
true.
close. You see, unlike most people who would have simply resorted to using their parents' leverage in the industry as a stepping stone for their own career, Thomas chose the high road by building her talents from scratch and making it in the highly competitive industry on her own terms.
Not that I didn't know, but it was part of my history, what I read about in my books in school, and not something so much that I dealt with here in my present life.
Choosing the high road wasn't just something she did within her home. That choice also spread to many other aspects of her life and seems to be one of the major things she is still remembered for. Since childhood, Michelle had enjoyed her time in the spotlight. She won the Miss Talented Teen New Jersey in Hal Jackson's Talented Teen pageant. When she was 15 years old in July 1984, she was crowned the International Queen in the international competition in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Despite the early glories, Michelle was slow in making her entry into the entertainment industry. Michelle, although seemingly having the star genes, also had her own share of roadblocks to deal with in the industry. One of which is that she was less than 5 feet tall. On average, Hollywood actresses are 5 feet 5 inches. So you could imagine how landing jobs might have been a little difficult for her.
Really? When you're, I didn't know that. So you have some more challenges depending on your height? Does it make sense? Maybe, depending on the character. Yeah, but she's talented. She can fit in. She was very talented.
This fact might have played a role in her delay, but as they say, delay is not denial, and her life was a testament to that. Michelle made her debut in 1989. It is a cliche to say she didn't look back ever, but that is what she didn't do. Look back as her career hit a front pedal.
You know, it's exciting to be so near to a great mind.
Well, could you get a little nearer to my great mind?
Okay.
Hey!
At the age of 19 in 1988, Thomas debuted as an actress in the series The Cosby Show. She portrayed the recurring character Justin Phillips, who is the longtime girlfriend of Theodore Theo Huxtable, played by Malcolm Jamal Warner. Although she was mentioned many times early in the series, Thomas was only in 9 episodes of the award-winning show. But that's not to say she wasn't in deep, as it happened to be deeper than most people expected. Per the reports, Thomas and her co-star Malcolm Jamal Warner dated in real time for some time, and even though they broke up, he was by her bedside when she passed away. Meanwhile on the show, Theo and Justine had broken up, and Cliff Huxtable had to talk his son into singing in order to win her back. She made her first appearance in the season 4 episode The Prom, and went on to be featured in over 7 more episodes. Thomas remained busy after The Cosby Show, and later appeared on several television programs during the late 1980s. These include Thea and A Man Called Hawk. In 1989, she guest starred as Ruthie Carver in a season 1 episode of ABC's short-lived action drama A Man Called Hawk. That year, she also appeared in her first and only telefilm, Anson Williams' directorial venture, Dream Date, also starring Tempest Bledsoe, Clifton Davis, and Kadeem Hardison. The film tells the story of the relationship between a father and daughter as the latter begins dating. The same year, Thomas also appeared in music videos for Drew Hill, Mint Condition, Chubb Rock, and Boys II Men.
Oh, Michelle, baby, your daddy ain't gonna hurt you. Come on, now look, we had something special.
In 1991, she made her
What
big
kind of movie was that? That sounded awkward. I haven't seen that. What was this? Okay, let's move
in
on.
Boys II Men.
Oh, Michelle, baby, your daddy ain't gonna hurt you. Come on, now look, we had something special.
In 1991, she made her big screen debut in the coming-of-age comedy drama Hangin' with the Homeboys. Directed by Joseph B. Vasquez, the movie revolved around 2 African Americans and 2 Puerto Ricans who had to learn to get along with each other. In the film, she shared screen space with the likes of Doug E. Doug. By 1999, her second and final film, the historical drama Unbowed, was released about 11 months after her death. She played the role of Anna and got the chance to work with Tembi Locke and Chuma Galt in the film. Even outside of these accolades to her name, when most people think of the beautiful and talented actress, they first recall her role as the quirky Myra Monkhouse on the ABC sitcom Family Matters, which ran on ABC from September 22, 1989 to May 9, 1997, and on CBS from September 19, 1997 to July 17, 1998. Myra was in love with the nerdy Stephen Q. Urkel and went out of her way to stalk him and try to force him to love her back. Now, do you get why people hated the role so much?
It's been ages since our last hen session.
Myra, we never had a hen session.
Then let's get clucking.
Myra brought a lot of laughs to the hit series, but there was so much more to this talented actress before becoming a part of the iconic television series. She also had so much potential for the future, and her light burned out way too soon. In 1993, Thomas won her most famous role as Myra in Family Matters. Years after this, specifically in August 1997, the actress was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, intraabdominal desmoplastic small round cell tumor. The following year,
the name alone is so long and scary.
1998, during the last season of Family Matters, Michelle's cancer grew worse. She had refused all treatments for her condition because she was afraid that they would interfere with her chances of conceiving children. Sadly, this was in vain, as the actress passed away without ever conceiving or giving birth. However, her final days on the show weren't exactly a walk in the park. The actress had difficulty with her scenes, was given less screen time, and left the show before Family Matters ended. During the spring of 1998, Thomas underwent surgery to remove a lemon-sized tumor. That was a major health boost for her, as shortly after, she won the role of aspiring singer Cal Rogers Stark on the CBS soap The Young and the Restless. Longtime viewers of the CBS soap also know Thomas was not the only cast member of Family Matters to have a role on Y&R. Darius McCrary. Eddie Winslow did a stint on The Young and the Restless as Malcolm Winters, temporarily replacing Shamar Moore. Brighton James, Little Richie, has been portraying Devin Hamilton and Thelma Hopkins. Aunt Rachel also did a few episodes as Denise Tolliver. While these people were seemingly working smoothly with the actress at first, Thomas had to exit The Young and the Restless due to health issues when her cancerous growth ruptured in October of 1998, and a second surgery was necessary. Despite undergoing treatment, her condition worsened, and she ultimately passed away on December 22, 1998, at the age of 30. Michelle's untimely death was a shock to the entertainment industry and her fans. For the most part, that shock came because, unlike what you'd expect of a celebrity of her caliber back in the day, the actress took her health seriously and mostly only ate veggies. But that didn't seem to stop the cancer from taking her life. Thomas had a promising career ahead of her, having appeared in several TV shows and movies, including 2 of the most awarded shows of her time. However, following her death, it was discovered that the stress that came with having to juggle many projects might have been one of the many factors that compounded the health complications she was having. Still, her performance as Myra Monkhouse in Family Matters and many of her other shows were widely appreciated by the audience, and some of her characters even became a fan favorite. However, because of her death, the show had to find a way to write off her character, which was done by having Myra move to another state to attend college. While she was still alive, Michelle was never really alone, as family and friends were by her side when she passed away, including former boyfriend Malcolm Jamal Warner. At the time, Thomas had requested a Muslim burial, and the actress was given one on December 26, 1998, and buried at the Rosedale Cemetery in Orange, New Jersey. For years after her passing, the actress's glorious exit seemed unreal to many of her friends and colleagues, and one of them is Jaleel White, who has repeatedly gotten emotional about the loss of his friend and co-star. In fact, only recently, White grew emotional when he was reminded of her while filming an appearance for the E-series Hollywood Medium. The actor's meeting with celebrity medium Tyler Henry brought back painful memories of losing one of his Family Matters co-star to cancer. White shed tears as he remembered the actress. In the clip, a preview clip for an episode of Hollywood Medium, Henry told White that he sees what looks like an E, an L, and an E. The actor, visibly stunned, wondered aloud whether Henry used Google beforehand to dig up information about him.
I'm looking at what looks like E, and then L, and then L, and then E is kind of the only way that I would be able to describe it.
You can't be messing with me, dog. Come on, man. You gotta be Googling this stuff.
Continuing, White asks, September birthday, sudden passing, ELLE, no Google? No Google. This is embarrassing. I don't even recognize you, Henry admits.
Talking about Michelle Thomas.
Okay.
She was my old co-star for Family Matters.
Right.
And she died of stomach cancer.
Don't worry about that part. We'll talk about that part later. It gives me joy you don't know who I am, White jokes before opening up about Thomas. The reason the discourse around Thomas had such an effect on White is that the pair shared an uncommon bond among all the other people on the show. Granted, you'd expect that to happen when people have to play each other's love interest, but there was even more to them, as they seemingly built a rock-solid friendship. White, after admitting that he never got intimate with Thomas, and also stating that she was like a big sister to him, revealed that the actress was constantly trying to find him the perfect girlfriend. This side goal they had seems to have been one of the many things that further strengthened their relationship over the years.
I never had an intimate relationship with Michelle. She really was like a big sister to me.
However, relationship problems weren't the only aspect of their lives that they bonded on. According to White, the pair also helped each other through difficult times, which Thomas and the rest of the cast members of Family Matters had to suffer through after the show ended.
When the show went down, a lot of realities for a lot of us kicked in.
In the actress case, it was slightly worse because she was allegedly in some financial trouble and had to find a different means to stay afloat with all the bills that came with adulthood.
Yeah, I'm hearing this about actors. A lot of actors say, the people you think they're very rich, they say after a show stops, they don't have any money and they have to look for the next gig immediately, otherwise they're broke. And also some of them have very expensive lifestyles and expensive cars they have to pay for. I didn't know this was a thing, but it's true.
Financial trouble and had to find a different means to stay afloat with all the bills that came with adulthood. This led her to get jobs on the side, with the star even having to go as far as waiting tables at restaurants far from town, just to make ends meet.
Moving on as an actress, I think Michelle ran into some difficulty. And I remember even for a while she worked as a waitress.
White revealed that the reason she had to find employment far from LA, where she was supposed to be staying at the time, was so people who knew her wouldn't see just how badly things had gotten for her. That seems to have been one of the many complications that added to her already compounding health problems, up until her ultimate demise. To this day, fans of the show still remember Michelle as one of the greatest to ever do it, and many of them have not been quiet about their thoughts.
Maybe she also couldn't pay for chemotherapy.
One of them wrote, if Michelle Thomas hadn't passed away, she would have made it to the next level of starring in movies and become one of the greatest actresses of all time.
Right.
She had the look, the talent, and the charisma to do it. Others respect her because they believe what she was able to achieve in her short time here is a dream for most act these days. The user wrote, you know what? She lived life to the absolute fullest. In the span of 30 years, she accomplished what most would have dreamed about. I'm proud of her. While Jaleel White might be the only reason we had a full picture of her life in the first place, the actor revealed that Thomas's passing was a reality check that stole his innocence from the show. White revealed that through all the turmoil they had to go through during and after Family Matters, he realized his time on the show before Thomas was hell.
I just remember, again, I get a lot of my enthusiasm from other people's satisfaction. Everybody on set that week was just amazed. I did run into an issue.
The actor, who became famous for his Steve Urkel character on the hit 90s ABC sitcom Family Matters, has revealed in an interview that he wasn't welcomed by the cast of the show. I didn't see how I was stepping on anybody's toes. I was taking anybody's shine. It's very important that I say this. I was not very well welcomed to the cast at all, okay? White said in a wide-ranging installment of TVON's Uncensored on Sunday. And I don't need to rehash that with the adults over and over again. They know what it is. The 46-year-old recently looked back on his journey with Family Matters as a child star and how his adult co-stars reacted. He was initially cast for a guest role, but he said the reception to him during his first table read was so good that he was hired for the full season soon after. He would then continue to appear on the show until it ended in 1997. White added that Family Matters had these three adults, referencing Jo Marie Payton, Reginald VelJohnson, and Thelma Hopkins, who all entered this show with the idea that this is my vehicle to break out. In a separate moment from the uncensored interview, White recalled when he first portrayed Steve's cousin Myrtle Urkel and how Peyton and Vel Johnson were very sensitive to putting black men in dresses. And they heaped that on me. And they let me know I was not doing our race a service by putting on that yellow dress, he said. But everybody has a default. Do you crumble? Do you wilt under pressure? Do you rise? Do you surprise yourself? My default tends to be to take it up a notch. That evening, I felt like a girl playing Myrtle Urkel, but I cried like a baby at the end of that take. I just broke. White remembered his father, Michael, stepping in after that moment to say, as White paraphrased, he shouldn't have to carry the burden of some adults making a child feel bad for playing a girl just in fun. Seeing as this was the life the man had been living before Michelle Thomas came into the scene and had his back, it's easy to see how she was an idol to him and why he will always miss her.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is that he won't be alone in missing her, as several fans have also admitted to feeling the same. One person wrote, "Oh man, I miss Michelle Thomas, aka Myra. She's a beautiful actress. She's to make us laugh in Family Matters, but we all love her and missed her." Today, Michelle Thomas's legacy lives on through her work in the entertainment industry and the impact she had on her fans. She serves as an inspiration to many, and her contributions to the industry will always be remembered. That's it for this video. Goodbye.
Wow, that was a good one. Yeah, very good one. And Michelle Thomas, I think when she died, I was probably like 3 years old, so didn't know much about her, but I know about Family Matters, especially since people always come to call me Urkel in the comment section. Obviously, I'm not. The real Urkel is 42 years old, so go to his comment section. But share your thoughts on that. If you enjoyed her time here, let's celebrate her a little bit in the comment section. If there are memories you want to talk to us about, please feel free to do so. But that being said, smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.